Based on the population census in 2010, Christians accounted for about 11.2% of total population in Malaysia. This community is unique because it comprises of different denominations, for example, Protestant, Methodist, Catholic, and Syrian Orthodox. And each of these denominations can be of Eastern or Western origins, and they have different development throughout the years due to these differences. Today, we come to the Orthodox Syrian Cathedral of St Mary to interview a Christian leaders on his perception on the current level of involvement of his community in interfaith initiative in Malaysia. This is part of the ongoing series of interviews with different leaders of religion or faith to understand more about their insights on interfaith initiative in Malaysia. We will be interviewing Father Phillips to know more about what are the shortcomings and what are the things that can be done to improve the practices of interfaith initiative in Malaysia.
The current involvement of the Christians as well as the church in many areas. Of course, historically speaking, there were areas in which we had to get involved in terms of having a dialogue, and that came about with the formation of what we call the MCCBHST, where all the official religions became an organization where they could raise their concerns and also for self-understanding of each other. And so this is a recognized body within the country. But the main focus of this organization is often to be a conduit to deal with the government of the day or the official establishments so that they will be able to help in defining, understanding policies, etc. But apart from this official organization, there have been many initiatives which have been there for many years, and those initiatives have their own origin and has its own dynamics. For example, under the Pure Life Society, we have what is called INSAF. Then after the 9/11 problem in the US, few of the religious leaders got together and felt that we have to, give a better understanding of religion and cooperation amongst religion. And so we had this friendship group for interreligious services, which wanted to penetrate into a different dimension of society so that we could create better understanding and engagement. We also have the Persatuan Promosi Harmony Malaysia, or simply known as Harmony Malaysia, which also has what they call their conferences, whereby they invite perhaps academicians or sometimes politicians who will be able to give a very good input on certain dimensions of promoting harmony and unity in the country. And this is what we continuously do every year, except for the time of the pandemic. And it has created some good impact among students as well as academicians. On a local level, example in Brickfields area, we have what is the Brickfields initiative. We have this idealistic dream, but which we hope will become a reality, that we take Malaysia to be blessed, bountiful, and beautiful. So that is the kind of a vision that we have for this country. And on a local level in Brickfields, we have started this initiative with the places of worship, purely by the leaders of the places of worship. And we have had 2 harmony walks to the places of worship. We have had a photography competition on the theme of harmony, and we have several other engagements as well. So these are the dimensions in which I see, engagement of people of various segments in the work towards harmony and peace in this country. I think a lot of the initiatives are good, and the only problem I see is this, that perhaps because of this time in history, it is important that more emphasis be given to the departments within the government that are already involved in promoting harmony and unity. Perhaps more engagement has to take place amongst leaders of religion. But more importantly, I think engagement at a local level, because that's where the visibility is, and that is where people will be able to experience it in their own hearts and their own minds about this whole initiative about unity and harmony in this country. Yes, very often I think older people, perhaps people who are my age and above 60 and all that, we always reminiscence, a time in the period in our country when we enjoyed a considerably beautiful state of harmony and oneness, understanding of each other. And sometimes we think we can just replicate it to this present time. But the difference is this, in the past, everybody had a different world view. And sometimes the world view was a common world view, and which also overlapped with each other, and there was a kind of understanding. So if someone says about a concept or any aspect of religion, the others were able to understand because of this worldview. But the current historical situation is this, that we don't share such a common worldview. And it's nobody's fault. This is a process in history. Where somehow, either because of the wrong expressions of globalization or otherwise, there have been pockets of extremism, there have been pockets of fundamentalism that is built in all religions. So this has made it even more difficult because sometimes people tend to have a very tunneled view of their own religion, and it's no one's fault. We in Malaysia have to try to widen the horizon of our own worldview. We must try to construct a common worldview about religion, harmony, and peace in this country. Then we will be able to understand each other, and we will be able to accept the very important cardinal principle of diversity in unity.
As I scroll through this book of prayer, I couldn't help but reflect on what Father Philip shared with us just now. It's important for us to understand the narrative and developmental history of each religion of faith, so that we can understand the full context and the rationale behind each religion of faith. This practice is important because nowadays in the era of social media, a lot of misinformation that can lead to misunderstanding and development of prejudice can happen if we do not have thorough understanding and refer to the actual references on what happened in the past. And it is our responsibility as a Malaysian citizen to develop this consciousness and proactivity to understand as other religions of faith as well, because through this willingness to understand, we can play a more proactive role in fostering national unity and harmony. Because without understanding, a lot of relationships that can be fruitful cannot be established. This is Yo Xiangyan, reporting from Orthodox Syrian Cathedral of St Mary.